Surgeon falls for hospital janitor. Heartwarming medical romance story. Dr. Ethan Cole had everything most people spent their lives chasing: prestige, respect, and a spotless reputation. At just 33, he was already one of the top cardiothoracic surgeons at St. Matthew's Medical Center in Chicago. To his peers, he was brilliant. To his patients, a miracle worker. But beneath the tailored suits and surgical masks was a man who hadn't known true joy in years. He wasn't bitter, just numb. Late one winter night, after a long surgery, he walked out of the OR, fatigued, his mind clouded with the weight of responsibility. He headed toward the break room when he heard humming, a soft tune, barely audible, echoing through the quiet hallway. There she was, mopping the floor near the ICU, her headphones in, gently swaying to some old tune he didn't recognize. She wore the basic navy scrubs of the janitorial staff, her blonde hair tied into a loose bun, face slightly flushed from the work. She hadn't noticed him yet. Then she did. Their eyes met. She froze, pulled out one earbud and stood straighter. "Sorry, I'll be out of your way." "You're fine," he said, surprised at his own words. He stayed for a second too long before walking away. He thought about her all the way home. He started noticing her more after that night. Her name tag read Lena. She was always on the late shift, often quietly singing to herself or humming while cleaning. Never complained, never caused a stir. She'd nod politely when she passed by, but never lingered. One evening, Ethan saw her in the waiting room helping an elderly woman fill out paperwork. The woman wasn't hers to assist. Lena had no obligation to be there, but she stayed until the lady was comfortable. Ethan walked up to her after. "That was kind of you." Lena looked up, surprised. "It's no big deal. She just seemed a little lost." "I'm Ethan," he offered. "I know who you are," she said with a shy smile. "Everyone does." He chuckled. "And now I know you, Lena." She nodded. "Lena Brooks." He didn't forget the name. From then on, he looked for her, not in a conscious, planned way, but in the same way people looked toward the sun on cold days. Slowly they started talking. Small things. Music. The cafeteria coffee. Weather. He learned she worked nights because it paid better. That she had a younger sister she was helping through nursing school. That her mother had passed away from an untreated illness 3 years ago because they couldn't afford the treatment. "That's why I work here," she said one night while wiping down an empty gurney, "so I don't forget what it feels like to be unseen." Those words hit him harder than he expected. One night, she showed him a small notebook she kept in her bag. It was full of poems, raw, aching verses about grief, survival, and hope. Ethan read a few pages, stunned. "You write these?" he asked. "Yeah, helps me breathe." He started staying late more often. But word travels fast in a hospital. People noticed. Rumors started. Why was Dr. Cole spending so much time with a janitor? Whispers in the hallway, side eyes in the elevator. His colleagues were polite but cold. His department head even pulled him aside. "You need to be careful, Ethan. You have a future here." "I still do," he said, "just not one that makes me feel ashamed for being human." He didn't tell Lena at first, but she knew. She could feel the shift when she entered a room, could hear the whispers. It was a small world. "I don't want to ruin your name," she told him one night as they sat on the hospital rooftop eating takeout. "You're not," he said. "You're the only thing that makes it worth something." But life wasn't done testing them. Lena's sister was in a car accident. She needed emergency surgery. Ethan arranged it instantly. Pulled favors. Lena was hesitant, didn't want pity, didn't want charity. "This isn't about saving you," Ethan told her. "It's about not standing by when the person I love is hurting." She looked at him, stunned. "You love me?" "I think I have for a while now." Her sister pulled through, and though Ethan never asked for anything in return, something had changed in Lena. She struggled with accepting the kind of love that didn't come with a price tag. "I don't want to be a project," she said once. I don't want you to save me like one of your patients." "You're not a patient, Lena," he said gently. "You're the reason I stopped feeling empty." A few months passed. They kept things quiet, not because they were ashamed, but because love in its early stages is fragile, like glass. It needed room to breathe. Then came the hospital gala. Everyone expected Ethan to show up with some high society guest, some elegant doctor or a political donor's daughter. He walked in with Lena. She wore a simple black dress, her hair down for the first time he'd seen it. People stared. Whispers turned into silence. But she stood tall. And he never let go of her hand. When he got up to speak at the end of the night, he looked straight into the crowd. "We talk a lot about healing in this building, but the truth is, I didn't know what that really meant until I met Lena. She isn't just someone who cleans these halls. She's someone who carries her heart like a lantern. She reminded me that saving lives means nothing if we forget how to see people." Some applauded, some didn't. It didn't matter. Ethan eventually stepped down from his high-level role at the hospital. He and Lena moved to a small town in Oregon and opened a community clinic. They treated everyone, insured or not. People came for the medicine. They stayed for the warmth. Lena ran the front desk, helped with admin, and kept writing poetry. She published a small collection called Cleaning Floors, Healing Hearts. It went quietly viral. They didn't live in a mansion, didn't have millions, but every morning they made coffee together. Every evening they walked home holding hands, and when people asked how they met, Ethan would always smile and say, "She was mopping the hallway, and I guess I slipped." Not on the floor, but on her, and he never wanted to get up.